I was completely broke. Credit cards maxed out, overdraft fees piling up, living paycheck to paycheck. Then I discovered something that changed everything. By forcing myself to spend $500 every single month, I somehow saved $6,000 in 1 year. I know it sounds impossible, but hear me out. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Our brains are wired to resist budgets because they feel restrictive. When we tell ourselves we can't spend money, we trigger what psychologists call reactance theory. We rebel against our own rules. But what if instead of restricting spending, we required it? This concept isn't new. Ancient religious texts from Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all emphasize intentional giving and spending. The Islamic principle of zakat requires Muslims to give 2.5% of their wealth annually. Jewish tradition speaks of tzedakah, righteous giving. These weren't just moral teachings, they were psychological tools. Here's what I discovered. When I forced myself to spend $500 every month on specific categories, something magical happened. I became hyper-aware of every other dollar. The act of intentional spending made me unconsciously protective of the rest of my money. It's like having a quota shifted my entire mindset. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler calls this mental accounting. We treat money differently based on arbitrary categories we create in our minds. By creating a mandatory spending category, I tricked my brain into viewing the remaining money as off-limits. It became sacred, untouchable. Here's exactly how I structured it. $200 went to what I called a future me, courses, books, skills training. $150 to experiences, concerts, dinners, adventures. $100 to others, gifts, charity, helping friends. $50 to pure luxury, expensive coffee, fancy soap, whatever felt indulgent. The genius was in the categories themselves. Investing in future me felt responsible, not wasteful. Experiences created memories and connections. Giving to others triggered what psychologists call the helper's high. Luxury purchases satisfied my need for treats. Every dollar spent felt purposeful, not guilty. Within 3 months, my relationship with money completely transformed. I stopped impulse buying because I had designated money for treats. I stopped feeling deprived because I was actively spending on things I valued. Most importantly, I started seeing money as a tool for intentional living, not just survival. The results were staggering. Before this system, I was spending roughly $700 to $800 monthly on random purchases, eating out, and impulse buys. With my forced $500 budget, I eliminated the mindless spending. That's where the savings came from, not from restricting myself, but from becoming intentional. This connects to something deeper in religious and philosophical traditions. The concept of stewardship, that we're caretakers of our resources, not just consumers. When I started viewing myself as the steward of my money rather than its victim, everything shifted. I had agency again. You don't need to use my exact categories or amounts. The key is creating mandatory spending that aligns with your values. Maybe it's $300 for you, maybe $800. The amount matters less than the intentionality. Your brain needs to feel like it has permission to spend in order to protect the rest. Start small. Pick 3 categories that matter to you and assign dollar amounts. Force yourself to spend that money every month. Watch how it changes your relationship with the money you don't spend. And let me know in the comments what categories you choose. I read every single one.